I was listening to something and she was discussing Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory, and it kind of pointed out for me when she spoke about the young man who came from poverty. I remember one scene that like pops up in my head when I was listening to her discuss it was when he his grandparents was sharing one bed. Like his paternal and maternal grandparents were sharing one bed, and they were just happy for him. Like, I think sometimes we get so caught up on what we can obtain and not what's already around us. And I don't feel like it's just the younger generation. I feel like sometimes it's just within the bloodline. I feel that we become these selfish individuals that we don't think about how we can rebuild the sacrifices that was made before us by other elders in order for us to rebuild and do what we need to do what's best for us. I feel that there's growth if you take the time out to come together and unify in unity as a family. And some individuals choose to not unify. Some individuals choose to be selfish, and then they wonder why no one comes to visit, why no one wants to be around them. And this energy of staying in this inks of pain because you feel like that is the best solution, and it's not. It's just not. And they were happy, even though they didn't have much, but they had one home. And they were happy for the opportunities that was coming for Charlie. And I think sometimes elders see, and I know I can be guilty of that too, when I look back and reflect and say, dang, I could have went so far if I didn't take the time out to sacrifice to others that were coming after me. But I feel like sometimes that's the definition of family. Like, you have to sacrifice for others that are coming after you. Like, it strengthens your bloodline, it strengthens your lineage in order for you to do that. And I think sometimes individuals feel like they need to have it all right now before they go. They need to enjoy this, they need to have that, they need to be a part of that. But maybe it's like when you're playing baton and you pass the baton in order for the race to continue forth. You don't just hold the baton and say, no. You don't say to the next individual that's picking up the baton, no, I got this. I'm going to run this whole race on myself. Like, it just doesn't work like that. I don't think it's designed to be that way. It just doesn't add up or make any sense. Like, it should be a sense of where it should just be you passing that along, because if that's the case, then that means that everybody would be able to get to live forever. And I think that's probably another little trick. Like, he can tell you, I'm providing you eternal life because I'm the devil and this is an option. But maybe that's not what that's about. Maybe having that eternal life is really a trick, because you wasn't designed to have that. I was just reading up on what is it called? It's another form of AI, but in order for how they're doing these tests in order to extend the lifespan, and all of these things that go into it, all this technology that's going to go into the vessels in order for them to extend that. I mean, we already know that they're putting things in the food and the water and everything else like that. But in the same sense, this is like a test in order to make sure that they can extend the lifespan to at least get up to at least 180. What's 170? 170. So it's odd because it's like you are you're allowing someone to come in and place these entities of items into your vessel in order to extend your existence in this realm. And I just don't I don't know. I don't think we were all designed that way. I think maybe in the beginning, when you look at the Bible, maybe we were designed that way when life was a little bit different, but life has changed. So perhaps we're not designed that way now. But I do feel that it's a baton, like it's a race, but it's a passing a baton. Like, in order for you to want for your legacy to continue, or I think they overuse that word, but in order for them to, in order for an individual want to have their family line continue, there has to be children, right? They have to be able to continue to have more children. So being that they have more children, that extends their line, that extends their lineage, right? And in order for you to do that, you got to pass stuff over. I feel like sometimes we get so caught up, and it's like we don't want them to experience the things that we didn't get to experience. But I think a good individual, a good guardian, a good parent want you to experience a life better than yourself. And when they say, oh, generational wealth and legacies and all this stuff, that's because these people set up to make sure that their families were good. Even when I walk past these different homes and you can see how many cars is outside in front of the house because there's so many people living in that one house, it's because they're coming together. They're coming together as a family to find a way to help out the next individual. So if they can own that one house, then that means that the next couple can go and own another house, and they can continue to have land and continue to have property, and then they can get information and learn different knowledge about generational wealth. But when I look back at the Charlie and Chocolate Factory, his elders were happy that he had an opportunity to be able to come out of poverty. And I feel like a lot of elders are not happy to see that their offspring or their lineage can have an opportunity to come out of poverty. And sometimes it makes it seem like as if they just want them to stay in poverty because of the fact that they didn't have that opportunity. But then you see individuals whose parents worked really hard in different time zones in different eras where it was just impossible for that to even be able to happen. And still yet they just destroy what was left to them. It's like, do you receive a certain inheritance that places you in a position where you can better and extend your lineage, or do you steal that inheritance from the offspring that is in your line, in your lineage, and then you're surprised that the money flows through your hand, that the abundance flows through your hand like water? Like, it's just, are you surprised that you don't have access to different situations and different opportunities because you chose to steal that from the offspring? How can you? It's just like I look at these situations, and I just ask myself, like, how can somebody be surprised that they are not able to continue forth? A lot of people out here stealing people's inheritance. They're stealing people's opportunities. They're stealing people's birthrights. It goes back to Esau and Jacob. It's like you're stealing from people in order to have, when that was not for you. Because maybe you're supposed to clean up any of the situations that were happening in your family in a spiritual matter in order for that next one to come in. And then when you come back in again, now you get to enjoy what was created. Like, I feel that there's such a need of wanting to be selfish and wanting to outdo each other, wanting to be in a need of a competition with each other, when it's really unnecessary. Because if you're a family, there should not be a need to compete with each other. There should be a need to be able to come into a unity with each other. And so by you coming into unity with each other, you're then taking the time out to work on betterment, to improve your family lineage. You don't know. I mean, some people nowadays do know exactly how far their line go back, but you don't know if God chose your womb to be the royal womb. You don't know your connection with the Most High. You don't know how your family is tied into that. And then you take the time out to just decide, I want to live my life to my best fullest possibly before I leave here. You're coming back here if you do the right thing when you're down here this time. Stop stealing. You get to come back here and help out the next offspring. It is a baton race. It's not your own single marathon that you're running by yourself. If that's the case, there would be no structure of family. Like, so many families take the time out to just build up so much karmic debt in their bloodline because of the need of wanting to be selfish, the need of not wanting to think of the next person, the need of not wanting to share. Then when they get an individual that shares everything, they take advantage of that individual. When they get an individual that come in and show love and show peace and want to unify and want to come to some type of betterment for the family line, for the family lineage, they destroy that individual. It's like he gives you help because you pray for the help, and then you attack and destroy the help. What doesn't make any sense. How is your lineage going to get any better? It does not stop with you. It doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. I know they say it's a marathon, but it's a marathon where you are passing a baton over to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And then that is a way that you can build a generational wealth, because it has to start spiritually. You have to be really in tune with wanting to not spoil your children, but wanting to educate them and provide for them. Like, it's a family. You find a way to come together in order to build prosperity, in order to build a strong lineage, in order to build a stronger bloodline. Yet you are destroying it and being selfish. You get to come back into this same lineage over and over again. But if you continue to add karmic debt to your family, then you will always be the adversary. You're hindering a need for a family to continue forward. You're cutting it off. But every time you decide, I'm going to go and make a deal at whatever crossroads I meet at in order to, I don't know, sacrifice this child, in order to sacrifice this individual's womb, in order to stop it, all you're doing is stopping. You're stopping the lineage. So when you look at the movie with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and how happy he was and how happy everyone was for him, and you meet the other kids who I remember Violet, she was Violet makes me think about the crown chakra, about your space, your mind, your crown, but Violet, who was very selfish and needy and very wasteful. And you see that a lot in situations where I've just witnessed that just a few days ago with someone, and the children were just throwing food away, just wasteful. And it's not like they didn't know what they were doing was wrong, because they were sneaking and throwing the food away. And I just sit back and think, like, like, what are people teaching their children? And they just wanted junk food and candy. And it makes you think it's a reason why God would give you an abundance, like, it takes time in your soul and in your spirit and within your bloodline to be able to accept that abundance and know exactly what to do with that abundance. And not that you would just run through that abundance, not that you would just find a way to, when it comes so fast and easy, it's not good, because you didn't learn anything. You don't know how to keep it. You don't know how to allow it to grow. It even goes back to the story with the three individuals that had worked for the king, and he left and he gave them each one, I think he gave one a talent to, the other one he gave 2 talents to, and the other one he gave 5 talents to. And the other 2 guys who got the 2 and the 5, they were able to flip their money and make it work for them. And the other one didn't know what to do, so he just buried it in the ground. So it's like, I can't give you something if I don't believe that you're going to be able to do what I think you can do with it. If you can't find a way to make it grow, then I will not continue to give you anything. If you find a way to hoarder it, then I still will not continue to give you anything. You're placed in a situation where you can learn knowledge, or you can choose to sit and just be sad about it. I look at my situations and my predicaments, and I am very unhappy about the things that has been occurring, but at the same time, it does not stop me from trying to learn something new. It does not stop me from trying to find a way to to not be a hindrance to the bloodline, to the lineage. So when you get something fast and easy, and you don't know what to do with it. You only know how to dwindle it or hoarder it. You don't know how to make it grow. You don't know how to reinvest it. You don't know how to flip it. You don't know how to make it work for you. You don't know how to do any of that. So, and there's nothing wrong with investing something and watching, burying it into the ground in order for it to grow, because I look at that as like saving. But in the same sense, you don't know what to do with it. You become very poofy. I think like when they say, like when an animal gets poofed out, like you become very big chested. Like this money has changed your mindset. It makes you think that you're bigger than life. You forget where you come from. You think that you're better than anyone, and then how great are the mighty ones that have to fall. So it's like you think that you're bigger than life. You think you know everything. Everybody is it. No, that's not why he gave it to you. Unless you got this the other way, which means that you got this where you stole this from the backs of children, or you stole this from other creative people. You stole these ideas. It places you in a position where you took that inheritance. You didn't earn that inheritance through your pipeline. Like, for you to want to rush and try to take something and receive it at an early time before your soul is ready to even comprehend or understand it, then you're not going to have it for long. So your next thought is to go back to doing what you was doing before, which is to continue to be a thief and continue to steal. And still in any way, shape, or form where you're stealing from someone's inheritance. And what I mean by that is like physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, creatively, and you're just out here taking things that are not yours, and you don't know how to strengthen it. You don't know how to allow it to grow, because it wasn't for you. It was for a certain individual who was going to share with everyone, who was going to make sure that the whole family can eat, who was able to see who had the talent for this, who was able to do that, who can prosper this, who I can give this one talent to, and I know that they're going to be able to save it, or they're going to flip it. Like, everything is set out, because even you ask yourself, why would he give him one talent and give the rest of them 7? Because he knew exactly what they were going to do. So he wasn't really kind of surprised when he came back to his kingdom and saw that this is what was able to be done. So when he gives you prosperity, sometimes God gives you prosperity because he already sees what's coming ahead of you, which is going to be some hard times, which means that you're going to need something to help with that rainy day, and then also he gives you prosperity because he wants to see how you're going to handle it. Are you going to be boasting? Are you going to be clouding? Are you going to walk around and make it seem like this is all you and you don't want to share with anyone? You're not going to find a way to invest back into your family. You're not going to uplift those. You're not going to share, so when you get it and it comes out and it's flowing like water, like it comes and it goes, like, because it's ever flowing, it's in a sense of knowing that it's a test to see, can I give you a larger amount of abundance? Can you handle this? And then also sometimes he'll place you in different predicaments and situations to show you those who had it and what they chose to do with it.